Jay Johnson is meeting with the media right now, and he has named 2 starters for this weekend. So I wanted to talk this segment about the bats in the lineup. We have switched that around, and we are going to go to the pitching rotation for this weekend against Maine. Now, as you're all aware, this is not 2 guys who are going to go out there and throw 8 innings, 141 pitches in the middle of February. They're going to ask these 2 guys to go pitch 3, 4, 5 innings on Friday and Saturday, and we'll see what happens on Sunday. But the pitching rotation to begin with has been announced. Your Friday night, opening night starter in Alex Box Stadium for the Fighting Tigers of LSU, Blake Money has been given that title. Mikhail Hilliard, the old vet, will go on Saturday, and they have not made a decision on Sunday. This surprises me on a number of levels, not because I didn't think that the staff liked Blake Money. I gave my prediction with Matt Musso on Monday about who I thought would be in the starting rotation, and I thought it would be Blake Money, Mikhail Hilliard, and Devin Fontenot. That's still a possibility if Fontenot were to start Sunday, but Blake Money getting the first ball and Fontenot not being one of the guys mentioned both surprises me a little bit. Were you surprised to see that?
Yeah, I knew they really like what the progression he made. I know when you saw him when he first showed up to their first scrimmage, you saw, man, that looks like a totally different guy. I didn't think he made that progression. Coach Jay Johnson and Coach Kelly, they feel like he's done enough to earn that right, and I kind of not sure exactly if he's going to still be the guy when SEC play starts, but out there and really show what he can bring to this team. So let's see what he got.
We're going to see what he's got. What he's certainly got is a body that's 37 pounds lighter than it was last year. He was a little bit out of shape when he showed up here in Baton Rouge. And last year he had his moments that were very good. He had his moments that were very not good. In 28 innings, his ERA was 8.68. His batting average against was over 320. However, and he gave up 6 home runs, and you're talking about 28 innings. But he did show some swing and miss ability with the fastball, and the breaking ball was okay. Now, the guy that I saw last week was holding 92 miles an hour after 4 innings, was throwing a lot of strikes, was beating bats with his fastball, and was throwing a really good breaking ball. Didn't see a ton of changeups from him, but he has certainly made strides, and I saw that coming out last week. It surprises me that he gets the ball to start, but I'm excited to see what he can do. The second part of this is Devin Fontenot not being in the starting rotation. That shocks me a little bit. Now, he may start Sunday, and that may be the deal. I thought because one of the first conversations that Jay Johnson had with an LSU player when he took the job was with Devin Fontenot saying, hey, we got a spot for you if you want to come back. Now, I can't tell you that he promised him a starting spot. I can't tell you that he promised him that he would have an opportunity to start. I feel confident in saying that he did say, we'll give you a look in the fall and spring to see if you can start. But there's something to the fact that Devin Fontenot has carved out a really strong niche in the bullpen and proven he can be a difference maker in the back end. He had an ERA under 3 last year. He's always been a guy that could strike out a lot of guys. He's pitched in big-time situations before in the SEC, in the postseason, and has been a guy that LSU can prove. I think the most famous instance of that was 3 years ago against Florida State, where he extended over 6 innings and hadn't given up a run until they finally walked it off and they went to Omaha. But, I think with him being a veteran, just thought on an opening weekend there may be a hat tip situation, but this is something that I've talked to you about a bunch over the last couple of weeks. We don't know how Jay Johnson's going to handle things. It's a new world now.
Yeah, definitely a new world. I thought Raisman would be a starter at least, but it looks like he's changed that role for him as well. And I think right now you're going to see a fresh start from this baseball team. He's going to let guys earn their positions, and I thought Fontenot would possibly be the Friday night starter, but that's not going to be the case. So maybe he's the Sunday guy. We'll see. That's to be determined, but I don't know. You got to trust Jay Johnson and what he's doing and what they've been seeing from these guys. They're around him every single day. We're not seeing the work they're putting in and all the progression that they're making. So you got to trust what they're doing and really see what these guys can do on these Friday, Saturday nights.
And the other part of this is Mikhail Hilliard, who did come back, had the opportunity to move on, decided to come back, and he wanted to start. He has proven that he is more comfortable as a starting pitcher. They've gone to him out of the bullpen. Hasn't been as successful as a starter. He's been great. I mean, this is a guy who went to Auburn, Alabama as a freshman and beat Casey Mize, who was the #1 pick in the draft and is already in the big leagues with the Tigers, doing damage. And Mikhail Hilliard outdueled him on that night. We saw him last year in postseason throw the ball pretty well. The breaking ball has always been there. and he's throws that cut fastball that's 87 miles an hour, 86 miles an hour. And as Coach Kelly, who was on with us last week, said, look, you turn Mikhail's film on, you watch him in the bullpen, nothing really pops at you.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden you look up at the line score and he's giving you 5 innings and he's only given up 1 run and he struck out 5. And that's kind of continued to move forward. And sometimes there's just something for knowing how to play. You don't always have to have the greatest tools. As we say with the 5-star recruits, I prefer if you have all the tools.
Yeah.
But they're not asking Mikhail Hilliard to be the Friday night ace, to go 7 innings every Friday and out-duel first-round picks. They're asking him to start a game on the weekend, and it's Saturday, Sunday, maybe even Friday. Give us 4 or 5 innings of your best stuff. We got enough depth in this bullpen that we can go to some other guys. Just get us off to a good start, and he's proven he can do that.
Yeah, I think that's something to be said about, a guy, maybe you're not throwing 98, 99, but if you have the ability to get outs, I think that's all this coaching staff is really asking for, and I think we've seen this guy have the potential to do that. If you can go out there on any given night, get 15 to 18 outs, help your bullpen out, you're not stretching your bullpen out, and you can trust a guy to do that time and time again. With the bats you have in this lineup, that's really all you can ask for, and I think that's something exactly what Hilliard can bring to this team.
I'm listening at the Bayou Ford chat, and there's some back and forth going on in there about the decision to start Money and what that says about the state of the pitching staff. I've stated on the record many times I'm not comfortable with the way that the staff's going to have to be constructed. I think it probably is the best way to handle things, and there may be 2 or 3 guys that assert themselves over the course of the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season that move themselves into the starting rotation and into a big spot. If you'll remember, Cole Henry's freshman year, he was an afterthought in the bullpen. Then he went out there in Austin, Texas for 4 innings and was brilliant in a game LSU lost. And Paul Mainieri said, I need to give this guy another chance to extend. Did that in the midweek, and all of a sudden he was your best pitcher down the stretch and a guy that was starting on the weekend. That can happen. It's not unheard of. It's better if you show up and you know that you've got Alex Lang who's going 14 starts for you at the front of the rotation, and that's the way we're going to play it.
Yeah.
This team doesn't have that, so it can manifest itself over time. If they're going to do it mix and match the entire year, I've got some problems with it, but I'm just telling you that I just don't know if there's a better way to do it, and I certainly am not going to sit here in the first weekend of February and say, based on who's looked pretty good in scrimmages and what they've decided to do for the first 4 innings of Friday's game, this entire pitching staff and this team's in big trouble. Yeah. It's too early to do that in a 56-game season.
Yeah, there's so much still to be determined right now. You're playing Maine, so even if these guys do have amazing performances, I don't know how much you can take away from that. You want to see that consistency throughout, especially the beginning part of the season, and you really get that rotation pinned down and really know exactly what guys are doing and what exact roles the guys are going to be doing. Maybe some of these guys can be stressed out, maybe not. I think all that stuff is still to be determined, and that's why you go out there and play those games. So I'm excited about it. I think Money has a great opportunity to be that guy, just all the work he's put in the offseason, and you can't help but cheer for a guy like that put that amount of work in.
I'm telling you right now that I believe you will see Devin Fontenot extended this weekend at some point. I think you will see Javen Coleman extended at some point this weekend. It wouldn't surprise me if Riley Cooper or Ty Floyd was extended at some point this weekend. And if at one point if Mikhail or Money or if whoever starts on Sunday falters a little bit in the 3rd inning, say Blake Money goes out there in the first game and he has some trouble and gets hit around and they get him out of the game in the 3rd inning, and then Javen Coleman, who comes in from the left side throwing 94 miles an hour and throws 4 shutout innings. All of a sudden, in week 2 of this season, he may start one of the weekend games. That's just, you got to go out there and prove it. And it's a situation like we talk about with basketball, like unlike football. If Maine beats them one game this weekend because one of the guys they put out there didn't get it done and they found something else later there, that's okay in a 15-game season. It's not fun. Everybody will probably go nuts because we've lost a game to Maine. I'm not telling you we're going to lose a game to Maine. I don't think we will. But it's just it's so early to jump to conclusions that I choose and will generally choose to see things optimistically before anything's happened. Mm-hmm. I'm realistic in telling you that I don't like the way that the pitching staff is put together. I would rather have it another way. But let's not say it can't work or that there's trouble before necessarily we know, because we just haven't seen Blake Money minus 37 pounds. We haven't seen Javen Coleman given a shot at the weekend rotation. We haven't seen Eric Raiselman or Paul Gervais on the back end. We haven't seen Riley Cooper. There's just too much we don't know. So that's kind of my thought is got to ride this 56 games. It's a long journey.
Yeah, very long journey, and it's so early on in the season. And a lot of these guys, I know so much has been made about this pitching staff going into the season. We have the world of confidence in the bats you're going to have, especially early on in that lineup. The first thing you have to point to is the pitching and the concerns you have, and just not knowing who's going to be that guy. Who can you stretch out? Who can you really depend on when you go against some of these high-powered offenses you're going to start facing later on in the season? So I'm not going to get too wrapped up on it. It's very, very early on, but I'm just excited for these guys to get these new opportunities to see if they can take advantage of it and really, give this team something they can depend on later on in the season.
All right, 2 things to end this segment. 1, we're going to get the Citizens Bank poll question here in a second. And 2, I told you I was going to tell you Blake Money's siblings' names. He's got a brother and a sister. You have any guesses on what their names are?
More and less. How about that?
Mo is his sister.
Okay.
Mo is his sister, Mo Money, and his brother is Cash.
Okay.
Cash Money, the young stud. So,
okay.
Just an excellent collection of names.
Thanks so much for watching Hunt Hill on YouTube.
Now, do us a favor. Hit the red subscribe button below and throw us a like. We'll see you next time.